Behold, a cold open. Joe, we did a posting episode last time where we talked about a lot of dumb posts from classic American author Joyce Carol Oates. And one thing that I know for sure is that we read all of the dumbest posts she ever made. We didn't forget any of them.
We completely ignored her personal vendetta against the idea of Halloween. She is the Grinch for Halloween. The Grinch.
So good. Okay, so folks, I'm gonna read you one of these old posts from Joyce Carol Oates. This is from the day before Halloween, October 30th, 2014. 7 years ago. I'm turning the clock back into the distant past. Joyce has this to say: Halloween decorations involving skulls, skeletons, tombstones suggests that no one wishes to know that biological death is not a joke.
She hates it when a skeleton uses two femurs that are not its own to play its ribs like a spooky xylophone. She can't stand
hates
that.
Xylophones.
She hates, categorically, she hates them as a musical instrument. She also doesn't like it when you fill up garbage bags with leaves and then use big hollow tubes to make it look like you have a big spider on your front lawn.
She hates it when you take a tissue and you ball it up into a wad, and then you take a second tissue and sort of wrap it around that first tissue, and then tie the tissue wrapping around the little ball, and then draw a face on it so it looks like a ghost. She hates that shit. I also love... you didn't get this, listener, just hearing us read it, but when she says Halloween, she has, for whatever reason, apostrophized it, where it's Halloween apostrophe N. It's ridiculous.
Probably because the real word has too much power over her, so she has to weaken it.
It's like people who think that Xmas is like crossing out Jesus for Christmas.
Oh no, I've never heard of that, but now I totally. That's a type of person.
Yeah. In grade school, my art teacher wouldn't let us write Xmas, and she would make us do a P, like a PX, which apparently is a symbol that means Jesus. At the time, I thought nothing of this. In retrospect, what the fuck? Anyway, I especially love this shit because what Joyce Carol Oates is saying, I don't think she knows she's saying this, but what she's basically saying is, I, Joyce Carol Oates, believe that no Mexican has ever felt loss. They don't fear death whatsoever.
Yeah, she's super canceled.
No, okay. Here's the story, folks. Someone, after our episode where we roasted Joyce, reposted this post. I remembered it. I was like, gosh, I wish we had read that. Maybe we'll do it in the cold open next time. And then, just now, when we were getting ready and I was, getting the link ready so that it would be on hand for us to read seamlessly, I'm reading it and I'm just like, you know what, Joe? This doesn't seem right. The wording seems off. This isn't the post I was thinking it was. Why is that? And so what I did was I went to Google and I typed in Joyce Carol Oates skeletons. And, she's been on this tip for 7 years, folks. This is an axe she has been grinding for a large portion of her life. Because, Joe, what did I find? Can you read that one?
Yes, it's a posted image with a post with it. The image is someone has a bunch of plastic skeletons outside their house.
It looks as though Halloween. The skeletons are climbing up into the house, they're trying to get on.
She's
top.
Taking a picture so she can say this is not okay. This whole post is in parentheses. You can always recognize a place in which no one is feeling much or any grief for a lost loved one in death, dying, and everyone you love decomposing to bones is just a joke.
Joyce, can you lighten up a little bit?
Please, lighten up a little. Just a little.
Imagine going trick-or-treating at Joyce Carol Oates' house and you're dressed up as a vampire And she's just like, I see that no one you love has been trained dry by a creature of the night. I guess it's
like, yeah, I
easy
did too. I'm dressed as the person that did it. It was so cool.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anbernickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I almost said 3 because I remembered that one time I said 3, and I thought to myself in my head, wouldn't it be awful if I said 3? And that sentence that was playing in my head, I got to the 3 exactly the same time the sentence I was saying with my mouth was getting to the 4, and man, it was a miracle of concentration that I got it out correctly. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm
Joe, an anime sicko.
We got one patron before we get to the meat of the episode, folks, and it's Rachel W. Rachel, thank you for your great patronage.
Thank you. Was this $5? Yeah, because the $5 is
otherwise we wouldn't be reading it.
Except
Rachel,
that one time someone had $1.
Well, that's because they had a hilarious and dope name that was very funny that I wanted to say with my mouth.
Okay.
I will say though, there is a little fun mini game attached to this patron because Rachel W has made her name, just that, just a W with a period. However, looking at the email address associated with this patron, well, buddy, it's one of them big ass Polish names. I kind of want to give it a shot to see if I can pronounce it right on my first go. And Rachel, however you want to get in touch, let me know if I was right or wrong. I'm guessing Wojciechowski. But you just can never know. There's a lot of C's and J's.
Everyone's Polish around us.
Yeah.
Everyone is Polish. Chicago is where all the Polish people come from.
As far as I know, this is all the Polish I know. Mowimi Mo Polska means Polish spoken here. Mowimi is definitely how you pronounce that.
Sound like a baby asking for something.
Mowimi Mo Polska. That sucks. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before. We probably have. Remember that fucking Polish buffet near my house? That used to fucking so good. They closed it down.
I remember about the Polish buffet is that we went there because your wife kicked us out of the house because we were playing Smash Brothers for too long, and we were like, okay, fine, we'll go to the Polish buffet.
Polish buffet's so good. I love it. Anywho, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the fucking Fruit Annihilation tournament, specifically the final bouts. We're going to end it this episode. You are going to know by the end of this episode, probably by the halfway point if I'm being honest, what the best fruit ever is. And we know that it's the best fruit ever because of our rigorous method of determining it, which is to say we sort of figure out what our vibes are at the time.
This is like a mood ring exercise.
I want to, before we get into the bouts, turn our eyes backwards and sort of relive the glory of the Fruit Annihilation tournament and what it's meant for us as a show for all these years. And years is the right term because we have been running this for, nearly 2 years.
You say running as if it's not like... The accurate verb is dragging it along.
Fair enough. Well said. I didn't. Jesus Christ. Okay. The first time we ever did this was in episode 43. The Fruit Annihilation Tournament Begins. That was released in August of 2020. Now, that was episode 43. We were so full of verve back then. I recall when we first did that, people wanted a blank bracket. In fact, I think I just posted a blank bracket with all the seeds all in place, yeah? And it was incredible. We were not as big of a show as we are now. We're not big now, but you know what I mean. And it was wild. It was so astonishing, the level of like engagement and reach and like popularity we were getting with this. So many people who I never thought would listen to this show, was so incredible to see. We're filling out the fucking Anime Sickos bracket and like posting it, reposting it, talking about it. It was like exactly, Joe, it was exactly what all those best practice influencers always talk about. You gotta get your engagement. We were doing it, and it felt so exciting.
Yeah, and we had huge dividends, right, from that? Like everyone. Did anyone listen?
I don't know, probably not. Especially not because the conversation clearly was about, here's my entire bracket, and here's the one I think is the winner. And we were like, ooh, we're not going to get to that part for 2 years. But please squander all this excitement right now as we drag this on. Because here's I just want to talk about our frequency of doing this. Because I'm looking at a playlist of all of the episodes that have the fruit tournament in it that has been compiled by Eric Silver, a king. Thank you, Eric. So clearly we were high on the excitement because 2 episodes later, in episode 45, Poster's Ear, we do the tournament again. Episode 46, we do it again with Andrew Sherman, who's going guesto. We're full of verve. Joe, then 4 episodes go by. 4, just 4. Now we're at episode 50. The rules fruit. We do it one more time. Now we start to slip a little bit because we let 9 episodes go by before we do it again and the sickos become stupid babies. But that's okay. We've done 5 fruit tournaments or rather 5 installments of the fruit tournament in less than half of 2020. In like 5 months, we did 5 episodes. Great. We then wait 5 more to 64. The Sickos presents an enjoyable slop experience in February 2021. 6 more for the Life Removal Machine, episode 70. And now, this is in March 2021. Now is when we decide, fuck this. We don't like this anymore. Because we did not do the fruit tournament again for 14 weeks. Episode 84, Comedy Still Sucks Now, July 2021. We then allow another 10 episodes to go by. The Sickos Get Fungible, episode 94. Oh, buddy, another 11 for Complaining Kicks Ass. And then
we just forgot that we had it. Like, for a large part of that, we both forgot it was an option.
Yeah. I mean, and part of it was because, one, it's, as a segment on the show, it's sort of the same thing every time. There's only so many jokes we can make, and we kind of made them all. Yeah. Also, listener feedback was such that it was becoming pretty clear that people were liking it less and less.
It has maybe overstayed its welcome. I definitely read a comment that was like, it's always nice when they put the fruit tournament on the second half so I can stop.
Yeah, well, we put in the first half this time, fuckers, but at least it's the last one.
Like, we're free. All of us are free together today. Freedom for us.
Also, another thing was that fruit tournament was pretty much specifically thought up as filler. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but just like when we only have a half hour worth of shit to talk about our mains thing, and we need to fill another half.
That's really why the fruit tournament exists. It's like, works hard. Shit. What if we argued about fruits and fundamentally forget some key facts about all of them at the same time?
Yeah, arguing is a I don't know if that's the right term because that sort of indicates passion and belief. It's more of just like riffing about fruits. And God damn. But the thing is, Joe, we're such geniuses and we've developed such a rhythm and rapport over our 125 episodes of doing this that we can talk for an hour about fucking anything. So never do we need filler. Filler just doesn't come up anymore.
It's true, which means that we have to do this with intent, which means it hurts.
Oh man, it's not fun. I've had enough of that shit. It's time to shift into actually doing it, and now I'm going to pretend that it's funny and good. This is funny and good, folks. You're going to really like it. Remember how you've loved the fruit tournament up till now, and you've thought that every round got funnier and funnier? Just like we were just saying?
And you love our sketch episodes and the play.
People do love the play. The sketch episode, actually, I moaned about it flopping, but it's got legs. Like, it's got a long tail, dude. Like, it's climbing up in the standings. I'm very pleased to hear it.
All right.
That's
let's end this awful game.
Yeah. All right, Joe. We have currently the final four of the Fruit Annihilation tournament. We initially started with some huge number of combatants. I don't fucking remember the number, folks. That's I wish I did. I think
it was 32. Was it more than?
No, it's 48 because I have no, it's definitely 48 because we have 12 seeds. We have 12 seeds, which indicates there's 12 fruits in each region. Jesus Christ, I'm so dumb. So we started with 48 combatants. Wait. Yeah, 48 combatants. Jesus
Taking
Christ,
this
I had
real
to do
serious.
4 times 12 in my head real slow. I was doing it in crayon. I was saying Mo Wimmy Mo the whole time. Okay, we started with 48 combatants. We're down to the final 4. Joe, I think we should begin with the final pre-championship bout, the semifinals of the Eastern region. This is, of course, the champion of the Big Fruits region, the 2 seed, Mango, versus the champion of the Du Bois region, the 3rd seed, Blackberry. Now, normally at semi-final championship bout, you're going to have a packed arena that is just howling because this is going to be one of the greatest fights you've ever seen. Both of these fighters, they've been wreaking havoc on their region, and finally they're going to meet. It's the crossover of the century. People are going to be losing their minds for an epic battle. Different fighting styles and special moves clashing like never before. However, that is not the case here. There is a deathly pallor, a pall cast over the arena. Because, Joe, I think it's a kind of a foregone conclusion.
I just got back from an island where there was mangoes everywhere. Blackberry's fucked.
Yeah. I think this is as close to an execution as any of these bouts I've ever gotten. I feel like Blackberry is crying as it enters the arena. It really feels like it got here on luck and circumstance, which, it's right to think that.
Yeah.
I will say, if I have to say something in Blackberry's defense, and this is not going to help it in the bout at all, to be clear. I'm not actually advocating for a Blackberry victory, but if I had to say anything in Blackberry's defense, apparently, because the French word for Blackberry is like me, I can't do French pronunciations, but it kind of sounds like mer, but with the French accent, me. Apparently, there are a lot of other words that kind of are pronounced like that, such that you could make an entire sentence that sounds like you're just saying meh, 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 with little variations over and over. Like how English has that one that's like buffalo, 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 buffalo. You know that stupid shit?
Yeah.
It's like that, but in French, but it's about blackberries. Now, that's not very important, or who would care? Well, Joe, there's a video of a cat who is meowing in a way that sounds like it's saying that sentence. It's meow, 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 meow. And it's like that cat's talking about blackberries in French. That cat's a genius. I liked watching that video. That's all I have to say.
I don't believe that video will help Blackberry not die.
Yeah, I never said it would.
I just wanted to reiterate that just because this is an execution. This is just like a case of Mango walking up to Blackberry and punching a perfectly circular cutout out of their chest.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying this as like Blackberry's coach being like, this is your special move that might catch Mango off guard. The cat, there's this, it's like this, like when you clap right in someone's face and for a second they're startled and you can like get in an attack that normally they would block. It's not that. What it is I'm an editor that's putting together fucking Blackberry's in memoriam reel. And like I'm paying for the rights to In the Arms of an Angel. I'm finding the cat video. Like nothing doing here in terms of Blackberry putting up a fight. Because just let's be real, folks. Blackberry, even the best Blackberry, pretty good. The best Mango, even a medium Mango, I feel like is better than the best Blackberry. This is ridiculous. Mango wins.
Yeah, it's as one-sided as it can be.
Yeah. Well, damn. One of the final two locked in. Mango. I gotta say, I'm not surprised to see it here. We always knew this was a strong fighter. We knew Mango could go far, and it has. This is exciting.
Well, what's the next deal?
So we gotta turn to the Western region. Now this one is more of a fight. We got coming in from the Classic Killers corner, a scrappy fighter. Someone no one believed in. This is a fighter that everyone wrote off. A 6 seed. Joe, a 6 seed. Middle of the fucking pack. Can you believe it? And they've made it all the way here. Now, everyone thought that a support class could not possibly make any headway in a 1v1 tournament. This is a healer. He's coming in with his little fucking medical bag, dude. And yet, as he tapes up his fists, you can tell that this motherfucker's got a heart of a warrior. Buddy, it's Lemon. It's the humble Lemon. Coming in from the Rebels region. We got the 2 seed. We got one of the all-time kings. The real heavy hitters of fruit. Buddy. Tomato.
Shit. This is a fight.
Yeah.
This is
that
fight.
reaction I said that wasn't happening when Mango and Blackberry were walking into the ring, that's happening now, but doubly so because all like the pent up catharsis they didn't get from the last fight is going to be put onto this. This is incredible. Now, Joe, last time we did a bout with tomato versus avocado, I was torn, and the way that you got me to see the light and see that tomato was the obvious victor is which would cause you more of a problem if you couldn't cook with it. And I went, oh, it's tomato. Here's the deal. That doesn't work now because lemon juice is like...
It's like everything.
It's
in
critical.
everything. Yeah. It is like the most versatile little addition and is welcome in so many cuisines.
My in-laws... in their fucking house in Spain, which I'm going to visit soon, hopefully, as long as Rona and monkeypox do not fucking kill me, have outside of their home a little lemon tree. And Joe, they live in fucking Spain. Do you know where the rain in Spain falls? Fucking nowhere. It's a desert. However, even so, this lemon tree can thrive and survive in the dry, dusty soil. Incredible. A miracle. A tomato could never do that. And if you ever want to cook with a fucking lemon, you know what you do? You walk out and you pick one of these beautiful fuckers right off the tree and it's bursting with flavorful juice.
So you're telling me lemons are going to survive climate variation more than tomatoes?
I mean, because I'm growing tomatoes even now as we speak in my backyard. And these fuckers take a lot of work. You gotta really baby them.
It's so much easier when you just get the can. It's just a lot easier. I think lemon exists as the perfect +1. I do, and that's how it got here.
Yes. There's very few times, unless you're Greek, that you're just eating a lemon raw. You're just freeballing lemon. It's always with something. But that something is always so much poorer without the lemon.
Yeah, it's how the condiments in Earthbound work. You know, like your burger was extra tasty because you had salt in your backpack.
Yeah.
What a stupid mechanic. Also, what you just said made me realize something. Let's just agree that both combatants are home to just like tons of cuisine options. They are integral in many dishes. That's just how it is.
This is true. You can't deny it. If anyone denies this, how dare you?
They're a fucking fool. Well, you said, unless you're a freak or a Greek, you don't need a lemon. Tomatoes you can eat on their own as well. Like they're also just great cut with a little bit of salt, if anything.
You know, oh my god, this is I didn't. Whoa, I forgot that I did this. So I mentioned that I was growing tomatoes and you're babying them. Well, here's the thing. Yesterday, I picked a bunch of them that were ripe and ready to go. And for what I had for fucking lunch, dude? I had like 4 tomatoes cut up. I put olive oil and salt, and I grated some Parmesan over them, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was delightful. What can I say?
Like, all the stuff you put on the tomatoes was tasty and good, obviously, but like, if you just fucking ate the sliced tomatoes, you'd still have like a 70% time.
Yeah. These are all very slight enhancers to the tomato. I'm not trying to add a flavor to the tomato. I'm trying to like just enhance the umami already present in the fucker. And buddy, do it have it. Oh, that's something to also consider. Lemon's got the acid, which is of course one of the critical ingredients in all good dishes. Every good dish needs some acid to brighten it somehow. However, tomatoes got that umami flavor. Tomatoes got MSG in it naturally. It comes pre-MSG'd.
Isn't there some acidity in tomatoes? And I say this based on if you have like a non-enamel pot, like a Dutch oven, they tell you like don't cook tomatoes in it until it's like fully seasoned. And I assume that was because of the acidity.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck, I hadn't thought of that. No, you're totally right. Oh my god. So you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing the scrappy Lemon, the underdog. People have big banners for Lemon in the arena against this huge bruiser, this absolute fucking behemoth of Tomato, and it unlocks its ultimate ability, Acid Punch, and it rears back into a combat stance, and around its right hand some swirling energies start to coalesce, and eventually we see that it is a orb of pure acid energy. It just does poison damage, and it does an incredible splash page attack where it smacks Tomato right in the face. And in fact, it actually hits Tomato down. Tomato falls on its back, and Lemon like follows it, and Lemon ends in like a fucking superhero pose, landing on Tomato's chest with its fist smashing down in Tomato's face, and the crowd goes wild, thinking he's done it. And that's when Tomato says, "Fuck you," and just stands up, fist still in Lemon's face, and just boom, sucker punches him right in the breadbasket. And
because the acidity that the tomato has was like a defense against Lemon's acid punch. It was like a Pokemon thing. It wasn't very effective.
Yes, you take half. You took half damage. It just wasn't there. Also, consider, you're at the vaudeville show. I
am. What?
The juggler comes out. He can only juggle like 4 things at once. What are you gonna throw at him?
A 5th thing. It doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ, you were committed to not hitting the balls I tee up for you. A tomato. You throw a tomato.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't. Okay, now I feel dumb. But now that I see that you were talking about like the vaudeville utility, I'm further inclined to believe that Tomato was murdering Lemon.
Yeah. Oh, this is so sad. You know what? Here's what I think. And this is just my what if of the end of the bout. It could be different if you disagree. Tomato is victorious. Lemon is broken and bleeding on the ground. Tomato actually looks kind of sad because, like, it's been so long since Tomato has tasted defeat. And, you know, that just, absence makes the heart grow fonder. To know that there's someone out there who could beat him is looking more and more attractive to Tomato, because winning all the time is just boring. And there's even as Tomato has won, there's a look of sort of disappointment on his face that yet again this was just another victory for me. Lemon was the same as all the others. It was the same as coconut, the same as dragon fruit, same as avocado. But then, Joe, as he looks down at Lemon's broken body, that's when Lemon's passive ability as a support class kicks in. It didn't die. It was at 1 HP, and its innate healing kicked in. And even though the battle's over, Tomato is relieved to know that Lemon lives on to fight another day, and maybe one day it will be able to come up with an attack that can defeat Tomato. But it's not today.
And also, Tomato did not take a life.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it did take the lives of avocado, coconut, and dragon fruit. Especially dragon fruit. That shit sucks. They put dragon fruit in that pink sauce, dude. Have you heard about that shit?
I don't want to talk about the pink sauce because I don't know what it is, and everyone's saying the words pink sauce, and I hate it.
Basically, what if someone in their house made disgusting mayo and sent it to you in the mail in
I
just
would
like
give
a
them
bag?
all of my money, clearly. Hand over fist. I would not be able to stop giving such a woman money.
Yeah, okay. Well, then you got it. You're actually right on the money. You know it better than I do. All right. Are we in agreement here?
Yes.
Lemon, you went farther than any of us could thought possible. But I'm afraid this is where your journey ends. But don't consider yourself a loser. Anyone who can get to the Final Four, except Blackberry, is a fruit for the ages. Holy shit. Now, Joe, you know what this means. We are now at the final round of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament. We have two seeds. Our seeding once has proven to be just tipping our hand as to what we actually think is going to win, because
I think I speak for everyone when I say I cannot wait for this shit to be over with.
Yes, we have Tomato and Mango entering the ring. Both of these guys, I'm visualizing it. It's One Piece rules, Joe. They're both 20 feet tall. They were just born that way. They square off against each other. The crowd is going nuts. There's no type overlap here, dude. These are as different as you get. This is like a fucking sumo guy versus a Muay Thai guy. Like, these are not the same. How is this gonna work? Well, actually, that's a bad example because sumo is sort of like a ceremonial combat sport, and Muay Thai is like a real combat. The sumo guy would get fucking owned. However, like that, but better example. You got it, listener? Okay, good. That's happening now. But then, what's this? Huh? My God, it's Coffee's music! Swooping in from the rafters. We thought they were dead. It's Coffee. But no, they've had the ruined parts of their bodies replaced by robot parts. And it's got its gun back. That's right, folks. It's a last-minute twist. It's a 3-way fight for the final bout. Tomato versus Mango versus Coffee. Oh, is that against the rules? Have you been listening? There ain't none. Fuck you.
Coffee's back because it wants to give more people diarrhea. That's why. And it's shooting its shot, both metaphorically and I'm sure literally in just moments.
Yes. So the bout begins. Joe, what are we thinking? What is your first impression of this 3-way fight? Who's got what it takes?
In many cases like this, what it takes is a gun. So I would say Coffee moves first and fires the gun in the air threateningly, like to perhaps lower the opponent's attack stat.
Yeah. Both Tomato and Mango have blue arrows go downwards all over them. Oh, okay. So, if this was a one-on-one bout, which it's not, because there was an incredible last-minute mic work that went down, even though no one said anything. It was just the only wrestling term I could think of on the spot. If this was one-on-one Tomato v Mango, it really is. There's no type overlap. And even with Coffee in the mix, it's It is wild to me that none of these fruits are trying to do even close to the same thing.
No. Mango is, for me, like the platonic ideal of like tropical tasty fruit. Just like just a beautiful treat that you can get off of a tree that's just a little sandy island.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not hard to get into like a pineapple. Like you don't have to bring out a big fucking knife and get rid of the bark. It's not like there's some tropical fruits like jackfruit and durian. I'm looking at them right here that are like funky tasting. It's an acquired taste. You have to sort of like know what you're looking for flavor wise. Otherwise it's just off putting. Mango. I will never say that a fruit is a treat or a dessert because in my eyes, dessert is something made by man. Fruit is an ingredient in dessert, but it needs the intentional hand of an artisan to become dessert. That is my view.
Well, that's what the peeling is. The peeling counts.
No, it does not. It does not count at all. God cannot make dessert. God made mangoes. Therefore, mangoes are not dessert. Man makes dessert. Anywho, that said, if I would ever make an exception, it would be mango.
I was about to say something to the same effect, which is, it is, I'm with you that like, oh, dessert isn't, you can't just have like an orange. Like then you're just having an orange, which is fine, but like don't call it dessert.
Like it's good to have an orange.
You should absolutely eat the orange. Having an orange. I'm an orange after dinner guy now, but I do not like say time to have dessert in a pervert voice.
Yeah, it's like after dinner I will have fruit. And then I'll have my fruit and love it. And if someone said, "Hey, did you have dessert today?" I'll say, "No."
No.
That's where we're at here. How the fuck did Blackberry beat Clementine? I'm just looking back at the bracket. This is so stupid. What's wrong with us?
The other problem with the bracket, which has also been pointed out to us before, is that it's seeded based on the opinions of the people who are doing the judging. Yeah. Which is, I can't believe we didn't catch that.
It's quite dumb. So mango is the ultimate sweet fruit. It's the ultimate just fruit that like gets you exactly what you think you're gonna get with fruit, which is nature's candy. It's like dope, sweet, sugar, lovely, juicy, great. No fucking notes. Mango.
Yes. It boosts weed. It gives weed a stat buff.
What?
Yeah.
Is this true?
Yes.
How so?
I mean, I don't know the science of it. It's just it is a welcome companion. You just Google it. It's not just me being weird.
That's wild. Okay, that's very strong. So mango's got weed on its side. That's very potent. So when we got tomato in the other corner, the other of the three corners, and again, it's wild how there's zero overlap here. Like, tomato is technically a fruit. It's a rebel, which is why it's in the rebels region, but it's a fruit nonetheless. But, like, no one would eat a tomato after dinner. You'd be out of your mind to do it. Similarly, you'd be out of your mind to make a fucking pasta sauce out of a bunch of mangoes. That would be weird. But out of tomatoes, you get the most delightful treat, the most delightful gravy. You love that shit. I love it. How do you compare? I mean, I would say apples to oranges, but I think a more apt phrase would be tomatoes to mangoes.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have coffee, which truly is the fucking freak of Earth.
Responsible for 60% of the global GDP. Like, it is a very important fruit.
Joe, it contains a drug that I'm addicted to and that I enjoy taking very much.
It's a drug you're addicted to. It's also one that's like socially encouraged, where it's just like there's tons of stupid things about how it's normal to drink coffee until you're shaking. It's fun.
Yeah, here's the thing, Joe. You've obliquely mentioned the diarrhea thing and the too much caffeine thing. I maybe I'm just God's favored child because I've never experienced any downsides to coffee other than when I drank all of what the mocha pot you gave me brewed, thinking it was one person's worth. That did fuck me up. But I never did that again. Coffee just is, to me, the ultimate substance. Like, purely good in every way, and I love it. The issue just being that that's it. That's all it really is. We mentioned that it has that the tea with the husks, cascara, and that's good. But it's like, at 7, it's marginal.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say something in coffee's detriment.
Gimme.
Of these 3 fruits, it's the only one that dehydrates you.
Yo, that's true. That's true. Other ones do contain lots of water. And dehydrating you is going to become a real problem in the water wars.
Yeah. You don't want to be wasting fluid having diarrhea when you need to be conserving it for battle.
You're still on that diarrhea tip, and you don't even get diarrhea from the coffee anymore, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but you never forget, okay? Like it's just like a body memory.
It's a sense memory. Okay. Oh my god. So we have to consider here. I'm thinking mango is like an all-arounder. Mango is like a brawler. You know, it's got some sustain, and it's got a lot of damage spells. Tomato, I'm thinking, is a tank. You know, it's versatile. It can stand up to a lot. It doesn't really do anything super flashy, and it's got no big, huge offensive spells that are gonna like do a team wipe. But it's gonna stay in the fight. It's always going to be a contender. And then the base quality of its stats across the board is just solidly above average, to excellent in every arena. And then coffee is your glass cannon DPS assassin, just out of its mind crazy, shooting wildly with the gun. What are we getting here? I truly am at a loss. Do you have any opinions?
I think it's mango, and I'll tell you why. We're talking about treats. Fruits are tasty treats, and of those 3, it's the treatiest. But we've also established that, like, even by treat standards, it's king. So, by extension, it has achieved the highest level of what a fruit should be about, which is a tasty treat that does not give you diarrhea.
Holy shit, Joe. I'm seeing it play out in my head. I'm seeing it happen. The arena, the ring is awash in blood. Mango and tomato both are covered in bullet wounds, but they're so strong. They're manga protagonists, so bullets it doesn't kill them. They've all unleashed incredible special moves that would demolish a lesser fruit. Moves that if Blackberry even watched them in the stands, Blackberry would have a heart attack and die. But they just won't fall. And Coffee's taken some bruises. I think it's lost one of its robot arms, but it can still hold its gun. It's still doing its best. It does that Dragon Ball Z thing where he moves faster than the eye can see, to avoid attacks. And I think all 3 combatants are sort of on their last legs. They're totally out of gas. They're going huff huff. That thing where if in manga the protagonist goes huff huff, you go, holy shit, they don't got a lot left in the tank.
Huff huff is death's door.
Yes. And that's when Mango thinks back on this entire tournament and thinks back on what it means to be the Fruit Annihilation tournament. And it understands that, fruit is a diverse and wide-ranging category that allows for such incredible things like tomatoes and coffee, which, to be clear, enrich the world so much by their presence and that I love dearly and eat as often as I can. However, it's like the heart of the cards. Mango begins to fully grasp the heart of the fruit. Like, what is the ideal fruit? What has this entire thing been about? It's been about finding the best fruit. What does it even mean to be fruit? And its third eye opens, and it fully understands that fruit is a tasty treat. And it goes fucking Super Saiyan. It's the first transformation of the entire tournament.
What does it look like? I think it looks like a skinned mango now, and it's glowing.
What I would say is, have you ever done the bit where you take like the big, like the broad side of the mango, and you cut it off to the seed, and you score the flesh into squares, yeah? And then you push the peel out to sort of turn it inside out, so it looks like a bunch of little mango cubes that are like all spread out to be eaten.
I know what you're talking about. I've never done it because I'm impatient.
To me, that's what it looks like. It goes from being like a mango with arms and legs, with skin still on, and then it sort of turns inside out. Because what it's doing, it realizes that fruit is a tasty treat. And this method of mango presentation is literally like, look at these little bite-sized chunks of treat just for you. Here they are. This is what fruit's all about. Put tahini on me.
And then everyone else dies.
Yeah. Tomato and coffee died.
They were just full of squibs, okay? And then they blow up.
I'm thinking coffee's got one of those, he's got a cyborg red eye that's like a big red light bulb, and it like starts sparking and explodes, and smoke comes out of it. And tomato just, I don't know how that goes. I don't know how he dies.
I know what happens. I know what happens with tomato. What happens is when coffee drops the gun, it hits the ground and then repeatedly shoots tomato like the toll booth scene from The Godfather. And even though the gun only can hold like 8 rounds or whatever, it is easily surpassing 40, 50, 60 shots. Yeah, and everyone looks on.
Yeah, what happened was coffee fulfilled the prerequisite to activate the ethereal perk, which it had equipped prior to the bout, which means that when it had done X amount of damage, for 10 seconds the gun became ethereal and did not use ammo. And then that's what happened. And Tomato's dead. The winner of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament's Mango, folks. Ding, ding, ding.
It's over.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. 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 We are now decompressing from that bullshit we just did. Joe, let's do the Anbernickos segment. What have you been playing on your Game Boy?
My little crime boy. I've been hitting up the Game & Watch gallery collections.
That's like fucking baby's first game from like 1902 or some shit.
Kind of. The ones they released for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance have like the original, like almost like Tiger Electronic versions of the games that are on there, but they've also like did modern updates. I say modern because it's like Game Boy times.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm really sort of like captivated by a lot of these Game & Watch games is because of like the scoring is so simple. By which I mean like in the game Helmet, how it is like you just walk between up 2 doors and you collect coins as hammers get dropped on you. And your score is just how many coins you get. That's it. Like there's no like there's nothing you can do in that game to be worth 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I don't know, something about that's like weirdly meditative. Because it's not even so much like how do I play better, it's just like how do I hold out a little longer.
Yeah. There's a lot of games where there's like hidden information from you. There's mechanics happening behind the scenes, calculations that you never see the formula for. You just have to like hope the game is doing something right. This is just like, don't get a hammer on your head, man. Ouch.
Yeah, like avoid that. Yeah. In the like remake, I think it's a Lakitu throwing stuff at Mario. I didn't play this one yet, but there's one called Mario Cement Factory, which is a very good name of a game. I'm sure it's about dodging like industrial things, but like what if it was just a hardcore capitalism sim?
Yeah, it was just like Football Manager, but it was like Cement Factory Manager. I can't believe people play Football Manager. that seems like a prank. That seems like they
It's
put it on
it's
Steam
Excel.
as a joke.
It's Excel. They're playing Excel.
I do that at work, and it's not fun.
Yeah. And the other game I've been playing or revisiting is Mega Man X, the first one. I think that's just like the perfect game. Like, I don't know.
I gotta tell you, this is a gaming blind spot for me. I have not played a single Mega Man game, except I rented Mega Man 64 from Blockbuster when I was a kid. I did not understand what was happening or how to play, and I played it for about 1 hour and returned it. So I haven't played any of the Mega Mans, any of the X's, any of the Battle Networks, any of the dot hacks or whatever, where it's a tactical RPG where you use computer chips or some shit. So give me the rundown. Why Mega Man X so good?
The main difference, I mean, there's a lot. For starters, Blue Bomber, Mega Man, just like, the blue boy with the Speedo.
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, those games done in that style, they just move slower. He doesn't jump as far. There's just like a different scale to the world, and everything has like kind of a more cartoony look. The Mega Man X games are a lot more fast paced because there's two mechanics. There's dashing, like not unlike like when you would hit down and A on Blue Bomber Mega Man and he would slide. But imagine that it was easier to do because it's a single button press and also went further. And the other thing you can do is when you jump up against walls, you can wall kick.
Okay.
So you have like those two things make for a much more like high velocity game. Like even in boss fights, like a Mega Man boss fight, if you walk into like basically a box and you shoot the boss as he does his shit and whatever. But the fights in Mega Man X are cool because one, sometimes the boss rooms are different. They're not just a normal box because it'll match the motif of the guy. But also that wall kick and dashing becomes like so crucial for dodging a bunch of shit, and it makes the keep away aspects of many of these fights very, very exciting.
Cool. I have gotten the impression about the original, the basic, the classic, not basic, classic Mega Man series. It's like one of those platform games where the challenge comes from the fact that your character jumps like shit.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I do like the classic Blue Bomber games fine, but there's something about like his momentum that sucks.
Yeah, and like that is
I
like
just don't like it.
That is like a whole genre of platformer, like Castlevania. I mean, I love Castlevania, but like you cannot deny that like a big source of the challenge in Castlevania is that your guy jumps like shit. And like that's why fucking Mario is more popular than Mega Man, dude. I'll say it, because Mario is a difficult, engaging platform game, and Mario runs and jumps exactly how you want, and like can go fast and jump far and change direction and do everything that you want him to do. You never have to. The challenge is never working around Mario's limited abilities. Mario's abilities are exactly what you need. And like that, it seems like Mega Man X sort of lets you move the way you want, instead of the game being like, what if you were a little arthritis man? Could you do it? Could you do the adventure?
Yeah. The boss designs are just cooler in general. Like the old school Mega Man games are like Flame Man, Bubble Man. Like it's like very clear what the bosses are. These are named like Spark Mandrill and Launch Octopus. Like it's just really cool shit.
That's Metal Gear names, dude.
Yes, the boss designs are a lot more fun. And it was also the first time I had played a game as a kid where they did the video game thing of you have to do a fight that you can't win. Because like in the first level, when you just boot up Mega Man X, it's like... So before you even get to the screen where you pick like your robot masters that you want to go fight, you have to do this sort of intro level. And the really cool thing is like the bad dude Vile shows up and he like kicks your ass. Like, you can fight him for as long as you want, but you're not going to win. So you get your ass kicked, and he like your health goes all the way down, and then he picks you up like he's going to crush you. And then there's a huge laser shot from off screen that blows off his arm, and then Zero's like, "I got you, man."
Yeah, Zero's
and it's just
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember him from Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Yeah, and it was the first time that trick has ever happened on me. Like, oh, you were supposed to lose, which sometimes JRPGs do that. Although it's funny when you think, oh, I'm supposed to lose, and it's not. Like, you fucking just lost. You're that bad.
I'm playing Resident Evil 8 now, and there have been so many times where I pause and look up, like, Resident Evil 8, this boss, supposed to kill? Because, like, I don't want to use all my fucking bullets on this guy if I'm not supposed to kill him. And it happened once that I didn't look it up, and I used all my fucking bullets, and it's like, no, you're actually supposed to walk to this spot, and then a cutscene will play, and then you'll appear in the next area, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm in the next area with no fucking bullets because I shot them all at the unkillable guy.
I think Mega Man X just has like the perfect speed of a platformer that holds up very well. Like, if you're gonna dip your toes in the games, I would say do X before you do the Blue Bomber stuff. You might not even like the Blue Bomber stuff after you mess with X. Hard to say. The Battle Network shit, he wears a little Speedo and you plug him into things. I don't fucking know what that is.
That seems dumb. I don't understand tactical RPGs.
There's 6 of them, though, so they clearly made a ton of money.
Yeah, I guess. So I've been, I mentioned last episode on the Anbernick, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time. Classic game. First time I ever played it. It's because I never had any Sony consoles my whole life. So I never played any PlayStation games, never played any PlayStation 2 games. Just didn't do it. I had an N64 instead. That's it, and that's all, folks. And I got a GameCube, so I never played any of them shits. So I'm just getting to Final Fantasy VII, and I gotta say, for as iconic and sort of like synonymous with gaming as it is, it's such a fucking janky game. It like it really kind of is held together with tape, and not in a technical sense. Where it's like, oh, the game's buggy. Just like in terms of like the battle system and the story, it's like none of this shit's fucking what? This is so ramshackle. It's kind of endearing in that way. Even as from a gameplay perspective, it's just like this is a first try to me. Like, this really reads as first try.
I don't remember anything about 7, like, gameplay-wise, other than, like, grinding specific materia. Doing some gold saucer shit to get, probably materia.
Yeah.
All I remember is how it appeared before me when I first played it as a kid, which is just, Sephiroth's got a long sword and he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So and then Cloud has imposter syndrome. Like he's a terminal case with imposter syndrome.
He steals valor. He pretends to be a soldier.
That's why he's the good guy.
Exactly. Because he disrespects the military, which is what we all should do. I'm gonna talk about other things, but I do want to just talk about. I thought it was so cool that the game begins where you're hanging out with Barrett, who is explicitly an eco-terrorist. He's saying the capitalism is polluting the planet and people are going to die because of the way that the planet is being hurt.
It doesn't waste any time.
Therefore, I will take direct action and do fucking terrorism. And I'm not afraid to kill many people in order to stop them. And then fucking later on, near the very end, he's like, you know what? I think I was wrong to kill people back in my Avalanche days. And I'm like, no, Barrett, no, you were right. Fuck, no, don't turn live. I
don't remember any character arcs. That's the thing. All I remember is what materia I gave to who. Does he become soft?
I mean, it's just at the very end, someone's like, you know, Barrett, maybe it wasn't right to have killed so many people. And he's like, you're right. And I'm like, no, they're not. No. Any means necessary, Barrett. You were right to think that this was a crisis. Actually, you should know now more than ever because there's a meteor coming to kill everybody because of all this. So it's so fucked. Okay, this is something, especially with grinding materia. Like, the materia system is fun. If you don't know, you get these little doodads that give you special abilities that you can slot into your weapons. Different weapons have more slots. Sometimes 2 slots are connected, and the 2 materia in them affect each other instead of just being standalone abilities. It's pretty cool. So the thing about that is... like, it's a fun system. I can see why they would want to shake up the Final Fantasy series by adding that, and how it's like a cool new layer of customization. Here's the issue, though. It makes the game, like, baby easy. It's like, it's so fucking simple. I never once struggled at all, because I was just like, I'll just put the good materia on my guys. I'll put the cover materia on Barrett, so that when people get attacked, he'll get attacked instead, because he's the highest HP. And I'll put the long range materia on Barrett, so that he can be in the back row and still do full damage. And that way, when he does cover the other guys and takes damage for them, he doesn't take as much. He doesn't take the full amount. And then I'll also put the counterattack materia on Barrett, so that every time he gets hit, he does a free attack. So by the end of the game, I was, having encounters with, like, final level, like the final dungeon enemies, ostensibly the strongest enemies in the game. And there would be many rounds where I would not get a chance to choose an attack, because Barrett had already killed all of the enemies with counterattacks. And it's just like, and the thing is, Joe, if, for example, that didn't happen, you know what I would do? I would choose Cloud for my first attack. I would choose the fucking spell Ultima, which no one has resistance to, and attacks every enemy on screen, and is the strongest spell in the game. And I had put the materia MP Absorb on to Ultima, so that every time I used Ultima, instead of costing me MP, it gained it back. So, yeah, it's fucking baby simple of a game to beat. It's very funny in that way.
What you described was like even an end game setup. You can get very broken early on. There's a materia called enemy skill materia, which is like the blue mage materia.
Oh yeah, yep. And you can get shit that goes nuts with that.
Like very early on, I think you can get something called Big Guard, which gives you protect, shell, and haste. And it's like one of those things where it's like, if you don't cast Big Guard right away, you're a moron. It's like, it's so hard to get those 3 buffs on you simultaneously, and it just does it.
It would cost like 6 times the MP of Big Guard to like actually manually do each one of those spells onto everybody, but you just do it Big Guard 1 move. It's nonsense.
The other one I also remember is getting 1,000 needles from a cactar, so it just does 1,000 damage, but like you had that on command early on, which is gross.
It's so good. The story, the vaunted story, I gotta tell you, it's so fucking disjointed and poorly paced. It's really laughable nowadays to look at Final Fantasy VII and to think that was at one point the pinnacle of video game storytelling. It was in the sense that the fucking CG cutscenes look incredibly good compared to the contemporary games that are coming out at that time. But like, I don't know, like Sephiroth is this iconic all-time, he's like the villain of video games. He's like on Bowser level. He's up right on Miracle status. But this motherfucker, they talk about like, Sephiroth, he's a famous soldier. I think he died though. But then he shows up and kind of goes, ha ha ha. My mother, ... I will avenge you, ... with the black materia. And he sort of like walks away. And it's like, okay, what the fuck? Huh? And then you have a flashback where like Sephiroth and you are on a mission to fucking fight some bad guys. And then Sephiroth finds out a bunch of emo facts in a library. And he's like, I can't believe it. I found out the secret about my birth. I'm
a freak, right?
Yeah, I'm going to walk away now. And he kind of walks away, and you're like, damn. And then, like, later, he's like, you have my DNA in you, Cloud, which is why I can control you. And Cloud's like, your DNA? No. And then a scientist is like, I put Sephiroth DNA in everybody. And they're like, why? And he gives an answer that makes no sense, that I didn't understand.
The scientist's name is Hojo, which I will always remember because the Simpsons joke Would you like to be called Homer Jr.? The kids could call you Hoju.
They could do that. I think the reason that none of the stories stuck for me is pacing shit, because I noted this. I think I told you this before, but I'm going to say it again on the podcast. I decided to fucking do all that you needed to do to get the Knights of the Round materia, which I said the game was easy before. Knights of the Round is basically the win every fight immediately button, especially when you have the mime materia on someone, because that just does what the last person did. So I could cast Knights of the Round 2 times in a row.
Which is a summon that takes a legit 20 minutes to go through. It takes legit
2 minutes to go through.
No, it's hysterical, because like it's just a bunch of knights showing up doing their individual moves.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
On the seeing it for the first time, you're like, holy fuck. But then when you realize that, you're like, I'm going to be doing this a lot, huh?
Yeah. Well, luckily, Joe, the Anbernickos is the fast forward function, which doubles the speed of the game, which I had on generously the entire time I was playing. And that was the reason I was able to actually do the shit you needed to do for the Knights of the Round materia, because it is insanely tedious. And if I was not doing it at twice speed, I would never have done it. But here's the thing, from a lore perspective, that is very funny. Sephiroth, who is this great villain who's iconic and everyone knows him as like the Final Fantasy's iconic villain, the series' most famous character. He is on screen for like a total of maybe 7 minutes. And his big thing, his big evil plan, is he casts Meteor, which catches a big rock in outer space and is pulling it towards Earth, and it will destroy it when it hits. And we all can see it in the sky, like Majora's Mask. And then Cloud, after having overcome his valor-stealing ways, is like, damn, we must stop Sephiroth. But first, let's spend fully 6 hours breeding racing birds. And it's just like, the game is, if you just look at the numbers, the game is more about breeding chocobos than it is about Sephiroth. It really, like when you encounter him at the final encounter and have the boss fight, it's sort of like, who are you again? Oh yeah, I remember you from 10 hours ago.
You deal with his mom more often, because like he will leave her places and you have to fight Jehovah all the time. Yeah. Who is basically a Lavos, right?
Yeah, Genova is just a goopy girl who fell to the earth, and then the ancient race of people who were hippies were like, we gotta seal this bitch, because she's an evil person. We gotta seal this alien away, and they did. But then the capitalism people found the alien and put goop from the alien into Sephiroth.
This is the hell energy issue, basically. Yeah, again,
exactly. It's yeah. We thought it would be good to tap into hell and use it for electricity. Turns out a demon came through too. Who could have seen it coming? Me. I could have. I would have told you that. Anyway, after I finished with that, I've been starting to play Dragon Quest VI, and I gotta say, I made a post about this on Twitter, but it's very funny how every Final Fantasy game is like, oh my god, you can hear all the staff saying like, oh my god, I'm so sick and tired of making JRPGs. This turn-based combat is so boring. Oh my god, we have to do the same fucking spells again. Oh my god, like what is the point? Why are we even doing this? This is just the same game all over again. This is stagnation. If stagnation is death, aren't we artists? Aren't we innovators? We need to do something else. So like every game you can feel that desperation. Like we need to break free. We need to be more than this. We can't just do the same game again. And like it leads to some awkward places, but also some exciting and interesting places. Dragon Quest, especially when you play the DS remakes of 4 through 6, especially on those remakes, it is so fucking clear that the Dragon Quest development team has exactly the opposite of Frouch, which is, oh boys, I think we've stumbled into the best game ever. Shall we do it once more? Because the DS remakes, every single one of them, 4, 5, and 6, all have exactly the same graphics, exactly the same control scheme, exactly the same UI, exactly the same sound and music. It's not similar. It's not like the UI is similar. Joe, it's the same. Even the enemies that you encounter, the graphics, the animation, it's the same.
Do you know how many jelly slimes I've seen in my life? A disgusting amount across many games.
It's so funny. They're just the same. And here's the thing. I love it. I'm going to keep playing these fuckers. I'm going to do it. I love looking at my Gohan.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason it's so fun that it's the same time every game is because it's like, oh, here's your little Dragon Ball again. I showed you the box art for Dragon Quest VII.
You did.
And that's like the only one where the main character is not a Gohan. He
looks like Dollar General Link.
Yes, he's Lunk.
He's terrible. He wears a little shitty tunic and a hat that makes him look like a piece of shit. I hate him.
Yeah, he does not have a Gohan vibe, which in terms of variety, impressive, but he's kind of boring.
Yeah, 6 is great because you got he's classic Gohan. He's got the spiky blue hair, and it's just like, you can tell Toriyama is just like, can I just do spiky blue hair on this one? And they're like, yeah, you've done 5 of these. Go nuts. And he's like, okay, spiky blue hair, easy. There you go. It's so fun. Here's the thing about Dragon Quest VI, and I love this. This is Japanese gaming all over. I heard that like the different thing, and there are very few different things in these games, so the one different thing is like a big deal. The different thing is that they brought back the job system from Dragon Quest III, where you can assign different jobs to different people, and then the special job unlocks that they accrue stay with them. No, even as you change your job. So you can learn all your magic spells being a mage, and then you can turn to a physical attacker, but you still have those spells. Oh, how interesting. Apparently they do it's even better and more robust than 3. I am 7 hours into the game, and I have not been grinding or going slow. Joe, yes or no, do you think I have unlocked the ability to pick a job class for my characters? Yes or no?
Dude, that's like hour 20, easy. There's no way.
Tom from the future here. It was 9 hours. 9.
There's no way you even came close to it yet.
Nope. Sure haven't. It's very
And then when
funny.
you get it, there's going to be 2 jobs, and it sucks.
No, I think you get all the jobs right away. Although I have looked at how many random battles you have to complete in order to like level up the jobs enough to get the good stuff, and boy,
Is there no like a separate job XP? It's just X number of battles?
yeah, it's the job XP is number of battles. Like one battle is one battle for job purposes, regardless of what you're fighting. It's fucking fun. However, okay, so that's what I've been playing on the Anbernick. We got to talk about what we've both been playing on the PC, and that's 20 minutes till dawn.
Yeah, what is this genre of vampire survivor likes? Like it's obviously a roguelike, but like what is this term? We need something for it.
Twin stick survival horde shooter.
Yeah, that's there's no bullshit there.
Yeah.
We've both been playing this. How it works is there's a bunch of goth girls, and then you select which goth girl you're going to be. And each goth girl has slightly different mechanics. For instance, say the lightning goth girl has like, her bullets have a 50% chance to cause lightning to strike there for some damage, whatever. Another goth girl can become Taz and just spin and shoot. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to picking your goth girl, you also get to pick a gun. And the guns are all very different, very fun, except for the crossbow, which could eat shit.
It's not nice with it. It simply isn't. I actually got very close to... I'm at Darkness level 15, which is the highest difficulty level. And I'm right now trying to clear the game with all goth girls and all weapons. Because it gives you an achievement if you do. And I almost cleared it with the crossbow. And I was mentally composing in my head. I was already thinking of what I was going to type to Joe, which was something along the lines of, "It is with solemn mind and heavy heart that I must inform you that the crossbow can in fact get schnice with it." And I was even thinking about how I was going to screenshot the victory screen. And then I walked into an enemy and died. The crossbow does not get schnice with it.
Not only is it not a good gun, but it caused you to falter in the Bushido code.
Yes. I never should have done this. And a lot of people, we mentioned how the crossbow's not schnice with it last time, and a lot of people cited video game crossbows that were fun to us. And one thing that was often said in connection with these was, "How could you forget? How could you forget this? How could you forget?" Folks, let me just answer that for you. Not just for crossbows, just in general. For all things. If you ever ask us, how could you forget? Easily.
Like, all the time.
More easily than I can imagine. So easily it frightens me.
The reason the fruit tournament took so long is because we kept forgetting about it.
It's the fact that I remember anything ever is a miracle. You should be asking, how did you remember that there was a crossbow in those other games? Because that's what's impressive.
Yes. It's also a $3 game or something like that. It's very inexpensive, and it's definitely worth that, in my opinion. Yeah. It's really, really cathartic to just mow down tons of H.P. Lovecraft creepy crawlies with like a revolver that is upgraded in such a way that it shoots 3 bullets, and then when it kills, the enemy explodes into 3 bullets. And those bullets, in turn, could trigger elemental effects. That's what this game's about, and it's very good for that reason.
We spoke really highly of Vampire Survivors before, and I don't know how much that game has changed. I know it's been getting patches and updates and new content. I haven't been keeping up with that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm comparing, this game to a game that no longer exists and is now better. However, based on what I know, in my opinion, 20 Minutes Till Dawn makes Vampire Survivors look like a fucking pile of shit. It makes it look terrible.
It's more of a game, that's for sure. I mean,
you decide when to shoot. Like, that alone is like, oh, I get to play the game now. Oh, hell yeah.
There's also just a much more coherent visual theme in 20 Minutes Till Dawn. Vampire Survivor, the theme is sprites that are like on a castle background, which is to say the game still kicks ass, but there's more game to 20 Minutes Till Dawn.
Yeah, like one of my complaints about Vampire Survivors is like, once you have solved the puzzle, which takes about like 5 to 6 rounds, at least for me it did, it can never be difficult. Like, it just won't be hard again. Like, I booted it up after not playing it for like a month and did what I assumed like the hardest mode that I was fucking able to do. Maybe there's harder modes I didn't unlock. And I'm like, I'm just going to try it out. And I fucking won on the first try without really exerting myself. It's just like, oh, I'll pick the fucking good weapons and then the combos that make the sicko versions come out. Even with 20 Minutes Till Dawn giving you sicko combos, like, it's really, like, especially on Darkness level 15, it's really hard.
You got to pay attention to positioning constantly.
Yeah. And like, oh man, like, even on Darkness level 15, there are bosses
That's the
that
highest
come out.
one.
Yeah.
That's like the Ascension 20.
Exactly. There are bosses that come out at certain points in the round that, and some of them are like the Vampire Survivors bosses, where there's like big versions of the enemies that have more HP. But some of them, 2 of them rather, actually are like bosses that have different movesets completely, and that no other enemy comes even close to. Like, one is a big charging goat that will make a little ping sound and then charge straight at you extremely fast, and you have to sidestep out of the way, and it's constantly doing this. So every other enemy just slowly floats towards you. So it's a completely new thing to be thinking about. And the other one is a big fucking orb with 5 doodads around the edge of it, and they all shoot lasers out, and you have to be like rotating around it at exactly the right speed, while also contending with all the motherfuckers that are floating at you and trying to shoot you with bullets as you're doing this. You have to be focusing your fire on them to clear them out, and then back onto the fucking monster. And
sort of the game with the bosses is like, okay, how can I shoot through the boss and take out all of the trash at the same time?
Exactly. It's fucking hard. Like, there's an actual game to it besides just get the sicko combos. That said, you do get sicko combos.
Yeah, you go nut. This is a game that wants you to go nut. Like, I think the game description on the Steam store, like, is just like, yeah, there's fucking synergies, dude.
There
like,
really are.
And it is. You can. For a while, it was busted in the sense that the elemental builds, there are 3 elements. There's fire, which does burn damage over time. There's ice, which freezes you in place. And there's lightning, which just randomly strikes an enemy. There is a period where, like, if you didn't do an elemental build, you were stupid. Like, if you were trying to, like, kill stuff with your own bullet damage, that was just not smart. They've since balanced it, which is great, because then I can do my favorite build, which is a big revolver.
Yeah, I love when there are like sicko synergies, like specifically like synergy upgrades, similar to how you can evolve the weapons in Vampire Survivors, where, like, if you have this ability and you have this ability, then it adds this sicko upgrade to the pool of possible upgrades you might get on your level up. And luckily for you, the game, if you pause the game, you can see all of them, and it shows you what the prerequisites are, so you can build for them. There's one that I have never looked up the prerequisites for. Whenever it comes up, it's always a surprise to me, and it's always a very pleasant surprise, which is gun mastery. The effects of which is just like every single thing about your gun is now better. Fire rate better, reload rate better, bullet damage better.
It's so sick.
Also the bullets go through enemies now, so they don't stop when they hit the enemies.
Oh, it's
Enjoy.
So good. I will say, in terms of visual eye candy, Elemental is still better to look at, like, because it's just like a screen being wiped clean with frozen lightning and fire. Like, it looks fun.
Yeah,
but I do like the gun mastery route for the revolver specifically. I played all of the weapons extensively, and I really just, the revolver is like the basic gun. Like, it's just, you hit 6 shots. It's strong with individual bullets, but it has a reload time. Just an all around sort of like average gun. Despite that, it's like the most fun.
It's real good. I mean, I think that none of them are bad other than the crossbow. Yeah. And I was talking to you about how there's the I don't want to get too into this, but the flame cannon, I think. Now, flame cannon is fun on the lower difficulties. On Darkness 15, I truly do think it does not have what it takes DPS-wise to be viable. Maybe, like, I'm not saying it's impossible to clear it, and maybe if I try a few more times I will, but it'll have to be by, like, getting really lucky with the order I get the upgrades in. I just don't think it's got what it takes. Fuck, this game's so good. You know, if you get this game, you'll be thinking about synergies all day, just like us.
Yes.
Like, I learned just the other day. There are runes that you equip before you start playing, basically just passive buffs that you have that you spend your, like, experience points to unlock. There's one that makes it so that every third bullet you shoot is like 50% stronger.
It's a cartoon bullet that doesn't stop.
Exactly. So it gets real fucking strong. So keep that in mind. 2, I realized, well, a lot of these summons, you can unlock upgrades that give you summoned friends, like a little guy who shoots bullets or a magical knife that flies around and cuts people. A lot of these summons specifically do damage equal to your bullet damage. And it's like, okay, cool. So I want a strongest bullet I can get so that my summons are doing sicko damage. I get it. Okay. Those 2 things I just told you, do you think they could fucking connect? Yeah, bitch. If you shoot 2 normal bullets so that your next bullet will be the sicko one, all your summons are doing 50% extra damage because the bullet damage that they're deriving their fucking attack power from just went up by 50%. This is the kind of shit that you can expect to think about. What fun.
$3.
Anyway, that's all the time we got for Anime Sickos. I'm Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
Thank you for listening to the Fruit Tournament. We did it. It's Mango. Bye-bye.
Bye.
thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.